Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of The Conversation. And in today's video, I got a pretty funny topic for you guys. And the question is, will Kawhi Leonard and these Clippers make, Shannon Sharpe cry like a baby if they go ahead and win this NBA title? So that's what I want to talk about in this video today. But before we get into that, I want you guys to go ahead and make sure you hit the like button and hit the subscribe button. We're trying to get to 5,000 subscribers as soon as possible. So please make sure you go ahead and do that and support the channel. And with that being said, let's just get straight into the content. So all of you know that, the basketball talk is, up and running again. And with all the major sports shows out there ramping it up again, preparing for the season that's on its way, I think a lot of people are, starting to make their predictions or go into early predictions that they had before. And one of the biggest voices in the sports world, at least in the United States, is Shannon Sharpe, who was a former, American football player, former tight end, and who was very, very accomplished in his career. I mean, minus the fact that Shannon Sharpe is absolutely hilarious. And it's really fun to watch, especially when he talks about a lot of issues on TV. He's super, super entertaining to watch, and I enjoy watching him a lot. But a lot of people out there may just see him as a funny dude that's on Undisputed with Skip Bayless. But Shannon Sharpe was a 3-time Super Bowl champion, an 8-time Pro Bowler. He's been on four All-First, All-Pro teams and 1 second. So he's been on 5 All-Pro teams. He was on the NFL 1990s All-Decade team, and he's been inducted in the NFL Football Hall of Fame, Pro Football Hall of Fame in 2011. So Shannon Sharpe is really, really accomplished as a football player. And when he transitioned, into, talk radio, sports media, he did an amazing job. And once he paired up with Skip Bayless, I mean, they have this sort of synergistic thing that they have where it just works really well, and they play off of each other, and they usually have two completely different takes. And the biggest part where Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe just seem to part ways, and when it comes to basketball. Okay, whenever it gets to basketball and we start getting into the GOAT debate, Shannon Sharpe is an avid proponent, an avid supporter of LeBron James, and he's always stated that he believes that LeBron James is the greatest player of all time, even ahead of Michael Jordan. And it's fun to watch him and Skip Bayless sort of go back and forth with each other, debating about that. Now, obviously, I think Michael Jordan is the greatest player of all time. Most people believe that, and if you were just an unaware, sort of younger, casual sports fan, after they released the Last Dance documentary and you got to see Michael Jordan in just one of his glory years, I mean, in his 1997-1998 season when he won his final championship, and you actually got to get a behind-the-scenes look at MJ and all of his greatness, I think a lot of people who were undecided or pro-LeBron ended up shifting over to MJ. So Shannon Sharpe has probably been the lone man on the island, him and Nick Wright. These are the two biggest proponents for saying that LeBron James is the greatest player of all time. But most people out there say that Michael Jordan is the greatest player of all time. Now, Shannon Sharpe in the past has said he's been a Kobe supporter earlier in his career. Now he's a LeBron James supporter. But last season, something pretty interesting happened, which was last season when Kawhi was with the Toronto Raptors, Skip Bayless was very salty with Kawhi Leonard. He was calling him number 2 because Kawhi had decided to go play. He said that Kawhi Leonard quit on his San Antonio Spurs, and he was basically exiled to another country to go play with the Toronto Raptors. So when he got there, nobody was really picking the Toronto Raptors to, really make any noise, or at least we knew they were going to be a good playoff team. But a very few people were saying that they could possibly make it to the to the NBA championship and win it all. Very few people were saying that, and I made a prediction well over a year ago when they were in the first round playing against, I think, the Orlando Magic, and I said that I think this team was going to go to the NBA Finals and win it all, and Kawhi was going to be MVP, and I turned out to be right. So throughout that playoff run, Shannon Sharpe was, always defending Kawhi against Skip Bayless, and he was putting on some virtuosos, the words that he likes to use, these virtuosos. And Skip, I know, is eating you up because your man number 2 has been giving it to do so all throughout the playoffs. So, Shannon Sharpe was a big Kawhi Leonard proponent all through last season, especially in the playoffs, because Skip Bayless was on the opposite side. Now, some of you guys watching this may say maybe that was something that was engineered by the producers to say that there always has to be a contrast, some type of debate. But I doubt that, because in some other cases, they completely agree on things. Like, for instance, with the Washington Redskins potentially changing their name. They agree on that. So where's the debate in that? And other topics as well. So with Antonio Brown and other things. So I just think that that's how they generally felt about those two things. And what happened? Kawhi ended up winning the championship, and he was a free agent. And he was the most coveted free agent out there, and everybody wanted to know where he was going to land. And some people were saying he's going to land with Toronto Raptors. There were whispers that he was going to land with the Clippers. And towards the latter stages of the free agency period, some people were saying he's going to land with the Lakers. So when Shannon Sharpe got wind of the fact that Kawhi Leonard could potentially sign with the Lakers, I mean, you guys saw him on TV, man. At certain points, he was obnoxious. Like, Skip is over for you guys. We're going to get him. It's going to be LeBron, AD, and Kawhi and all of this stuff. So he was, really riding that train, saying that, Kawhi's going to be with the Lakers and they're just going to run through the entire league. And to be fair, if Kawhi Leonard had signed with the Lakers, they would have tore through the league. I mean, it was like Golden State Warriors 2.0, because there's nothing you can do with, you're going to beat LeBron, Kawhi, and AD. There was nothing you can do with them. They would have been too talented, too good. And it would have been the best team in the NBA by far. By far. They wouldn't lose. They would never lose. So Shannon Sharpe saw that, and he knew that could have been a potential reason or a potential catalyst for LeBron winning another championship, and for him to come out and say something obnoxious like, now, after LeBron has won his fourth championship in, 10 tries or whatever it is, that he is now Michael Jordan. He's better than Michael Jordan. Shannon Sharpe was going to make that argument. But what ended up happening was Kawhi decided that he was going to go sign with the Clippers, and he took everybody for a ride. And I think the person that got the rug pulled out from under him, the biggest, or that fell the hardest, was Shannon Sharpe. Because Shannon Sharpe, I think he was convinced that Kawhi was going to go play with the Lakers. For him, he couldn't see why somebody wouldn't want to play with the Lakers and play with LeBron, but Kawhi decided to go play with the Clippers. And since then, we've witnessed a flip-flop. Now, Skip Bayless has become a huge Kawhi Leonard fan, and Shannon Sharpe is like, Shannon Sharpe was giving Kawhi Leonard his props, but once he started seeing that people like saying, yo, this dude could potentially be better than LeBron, that's when all of that Kawhi support came to an immediate screeching halt. And all of a sudden, he was no longer on the Kawhi Leonard bandwagon anymore because he viewed him as a threat. And Nick Wright took it to the next level. I mean, Nick Wright is just a little bit obnoxious with his own takes, but that's where sort of the honeymoon ended. Now, if we look at LeBron James this season, he's putting up a historic number for himself, historic numbers for himself. He's averaging 25.7 points, 7.9 rebounds, and 10.6 assists to lead the league. So he's leading the league in assists in year number 16, which is amazing. The guy is 35 years old, so that's an amazing, amazing accomplishment. He's played 60 of the available 62 games. He's playing 35 minutes a game, which is a good amount of minutes, I think. He's shooting 50% from the field, 35% from the three-point line, 70% from the free throw line, and he's getting you also a 1.2 steals a game. So LeBron is having an amazing standout season, and you got to tip your hat to him. The dude is just amazing. He's one of the 10 greatest players of all time, and some people are top 5 greatest players of all time. So there's no surprise to that. I guess it's just at this latter advanced stage in his career that he's doing that. Kawhi, on the other hand, is averaging 27 points a game, 7.3 rebounds, 5 assists, playing 3 less minutes a game than LeBron at 32 minutes a game, shooting 47% from the field, 36.6% from the three, 89% from the free throw line, and getting you 1.8 steals a game to go along with his 7.3 rebounds and 5 assists. So Kawhi Leonard is putting up stellar numbers. Now, if we look at these teams overall, the Lakers have the overall best record in the NBA and the Western Conference at a 49-14 record. And they just recently beat the number 2 seed, which in this case is the Los Angeles Clippers, who are number 2 with the 44-20 record. And they just, they played each other 3 times. Now, in the 3 meetings, there was a meeting on opening night, which I believe was October 22nd, if I'm wrong. That was opening night last year. I don't remember the exact day. And the Clippers came away with that win. Kawhi scored 30 on opening night. That was his big statement game. That's when he dropped his New Balance commercials and all of that. Then they played again on Christmas Day. And on Christmas Day, the Clippers ended up winning a very close game. Kawhi dropped 35 points, 12 rebounds, I think like 4 or 3 assists, I don't remember. and he was the best player on the court that night. And Shannon Sharpe was pretty salty because going after the Clippers won the first game, and Shannon Sharpe was, I don't know how many crates of Mountain Dew or whatever it is these guys have bet thus far. I don't know how many crates he bet, but he was like, it's over. We're going to smash y'all, blah, blah. So they lost again. And when they lost on Christmas Day, it was just hilarious to see his reaction. And then, of course, they played a third time right before the season closed, where the Lakers beat them 112-103, and LeBron showed up, man. He had like 28 points. He had damn near a triple-double. AD chipped in 30, and the Lakers won. And what ended up happening was, now that we know that the season is coming back and they're going to be playing against each other on opening night, I believe that's on July 30th, I recently heard Shannon Sharpe bet Skip Bayless another crate of Mountain Dew, saying that he was saying that the Lakers are going to beat them. So where's all of this going to? Well, we both know that both of these teams are going to be in the playoffs. Okay. And if they do end up meeting each other in the playoffs at a certain point, because I believe these are the two best teams in the Western Conference, if the Clippers play the Lakers and they were to beat the Lakers, I think Shannon Sharpe will have a hard time showing his face at the office, because he's been picking the Lakers all season. And I think he's going to be really hurt to see Kawhi Leonard go back to the championship round again and possibly win a back-to-back finals MVP. I think will break him. But I think it'll be the funniest thing. But some of you guys can say the same thing about me. You could say, hey, listen, man, you've been picking the Clippers all season long, and if these guys go up there and they lose, what you going to say? Now, I have to show up, just like Shannon Sharpe, and I'm going to be wrong, and I'm going to have to own up to it. But I think Shannon Sharpe is going to have a harder time, and he's going to be really hurt. If the Lakers lose is one thing, and he's going to be hurt about that. But if they lose to the Clippers, oh, man, I think he's going to have a hard time sort of resolving those feelings. So what I want to know from you guys is, do you think that Shannon Sharpe will be butt hurt if the Lakers got beat by the Clippers, or do you think he's going to take it on the chin and come back the next day and say, hey, man, you know what? The Clippers deserve that. They deserve to go to the championship or whatever. So what I want to know from you, so whatever you think, please let me know your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. Again, if you enjoyed the video, make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. Once again, this is Charles here from Dreamerspro. Wishing you guys an amazing day. Peace.